Urgent! Ukraine is deploying new mega weapons to the front. Pokrovsk is waiting in anticipation. Could this be the weapon that will finally crush the Russian army in hellish battles? Shock! Our drones have never been this fierce before. The world is amazed. Developments that have left Putin completely rattled. An unmanned fighter jet appears in the sky. It was shown for the first time. The lightning struck with full force. A mysterious sea drone destroyed Russia's elite in the Black Sea. Incredible. It can do things Moscow never dared to attempt. Video. Ukrainian ballistics have finally broken through. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. More on this coming up. Watch until the end. Greetings. This is Ukraine Today. I'm Darina Hutsakalo. And here are the latest events. Sensation. A breakthrough is being prepared on the front line. A new generation of Ukrainian drones is taking to the skies. Chinese Mavics are unexpectedly becoming a thing of the past, giving way to domestic predator machines designed specifically to hunt the enemy. Could it be that this very weapon will break into Pokrovsk? There are numerous Ukrainian-made alternatives to the Mavic, including Ukroopter, Yaudza, and models with the charming name Shamavik. Compared to DJI drones, they are equipped with longer-range, interference-resistant communication and are more expensive. However, they may prove to be more cost-effective due to their greater reliability. Another development is the Zoom drone from Frontline Robotics, which is designed specifically for operations in conditions of intense electronic warfare. Experts note that although some components are still imported, the share of Ukrainian-made parts is rapidly increasing. Ukraine is now producing its own batteries, flight controllers, and even affordable thermal imaging cameras. And another breakthrough in the defense industry is just around the corner. It seems that another mega weapon from our side is about to enter the scene. Ukraine has introduced the world to the jet-powered unmanned fighter FA-61. It is capable of reaching speeds of over 250 kilometers per hour, with a flight range of 30 kilometers, a ceiling of 5,000 meters, and an air target detection radius of up to 15 kilometers. No further details about this combat bird are being disclosed yet. But it seems Moscow should already be afraid of its first combat sortie. Something truly hellish is brewing. It seems that previously unknown sea drones equipped with artificial intelligence have now entered the arena of fierce confrontation with the enemy. This assumption was made by Defense Express, commenting on the recent attack by the naval forces on an elite Russian special unit at the Sivash drilling platform in the Black Sea. This is yet another unnamed sea drone. It is worth noting a similar attack by the Navy in December 2024 when a group of similar maritime drones carrying FPV drones attacked gas platforms. Obviously, over the course of almost a year, some equipment and its placement could have changed and a superstructure might have appeared, but the general features, such as the raised area above the engine or the shape of the hull, have remained. However, this is just an assumption. Nevertheless, among the speculations is that the mysterious weapon disabled the enemy forces using either the Barracuda 9 drone or a variation of the Sea Baby maritime drone. However, the most likely scenario is that the Barracuda 9 was used for the kamikaze strike, while either the Sea Baby or that unnamed but upgraded drone from last year's attack was used to launch the FPV drones. From nighttime deep strikes to precision hits on logistics, Ukrainian weaponry operates in sync and without mercy. Drones tear through the enemy's rear, ballistic missiles steal their supplies, and the front line is gradually bending under the control of our units. Russian depots are burning, communications are broken, and reserves are shattered. The regime is trying to patch up the holes, but time is running out. More details about the deadly machine our forces have unleashed and the disaster it could spell for the enemy are coming up in the next segment. The Saratov oil refinery has come under drone attack for the fourth time this fall. During the attack, flight restrictions were in place at the local airport for 6 hours.
It is one of the oldest oil refineries in the Russian Federation. It produces up to 20 types of products. First and foremost, these are gasoline, diesel fuel, and fuel oil. Accordingly, this enterprise is affiliated with the structure of the Russian military-industrial complex, meaning it handles the logistics component for the Russian army, both within the Russian Federation and directly on the territory of Ukraine. Ukrainian drone flights to the temporarily occupied territory of Luhansk region were also successful, where logistical facilities of the Russian army were struck. Russia continues its offensive in the Pokrovsk direction. The situation for the armed forces of Ukraine here is difficult but under control. And here are the shots of Ukrainian defenders encountering the occupiers there. These shots are also from the Pokrovsk district. In them, a Russian soldier uses a cooking pot to hide from the operator of a Ukrainian drone. By order of the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of Ukraine, both additional operational reserves and special units of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the Special Operations Forces and the Security Service of Ukraine have been redeployed from Tversk to Pokrovsk. At the moment, according to operational data, the Russian side is preparing two bloody provocations near Pokrovsk under so-called false flags, the aim of which will be to accuse the defense forces of Ukraine and the Ukrainian intelligence community of violating the rules and norms of warfare.
The Kremlin dictator has ordered his army to provide a green corridor for propagandists so that they can prepare distorted information for their audience. But it seems that not everyone has enough imagination to create news. For example, Z propagandist Maxim Kalashnikov openly states that Russia will be defeated as a result of the war.
Russian, a very untriumphant outcome. In fact, those goals that were originally set for us back in February 2022, if you remember, it turns out that they are actually unattainable here.
Another piece of bad news for Russia. A Russian boat with a Wagner flag was spotted near the banks of the Narva River. The video was published by the Estonian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The ministry jokingly wondered whether the PMC was heading for Moscow again.
At the moment, it is specifically the Wagner PMC that is being used to destabilize the situation at the borders with NATO countries. First and foremost, these are the Baltic countries and accordingly Poland. Let me remind you, the presence of Wagner PMC has been legalized on the territory of the Republic of Belarus, and this is within the legal framework.
Two North Korean soldiers who were captured by defense forces in the Kursk region in January of this year are requesting to be sent to South Korea. It is reported that the North Koreans are in a severe psychological state and have even attempted to harm themselves.
They are fully aware that if they return directly to North Korea, both they and their family members will be physically eliminated. This is exactly the manual that was communicated to North Korean servicemen when they participated in combat operations on the territory of the Russian Federation during the confrontation with the Ukrainian Defense Forces. That is why there have been cases of North Korean soldiers blowing themselves up to avoid being captured.
The head of the Pentagon stated that the US and China will establish military cooperation to resolve conflicts. To this end, the United States and China will create new channels of communication between their armed forces.
This concerns the prevention of possible provocations against the state of Taiwan. It is no coincidence that Trump stated that the Chinese side has been warned about the possible consequences related specifically to carrying out plans for a direct invasion of this state's territory. Therefore, it appears that the goal is to establish communications that will help avoid the creation of another so-called Cuban Missile Crisis, but this time in the Pacific region, that is, a confrontation between two nuclear powers.
Germany has delivered Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced this and emphasized that every new element strengthening air defense brings the end of the conflict closer and reduces Russia's ability to continue air attacks.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Ukrainian ballistics are breaking through. Our forces are once again putting on a masterclass. Moscow can't handle it. The armed forces of Ukraine did it. The Russian Oreshnik has been reduced to rubble, and the enemy's secret depots are exploding under the precise strikes of Ukrainian ballistic missiles. Flamingos and Neptunes are piercing right into the heart of Russia with pinpoint shots. Putin's plans are crumbling like sand slipping through his fingers. Fierce drones rule the skies, against which even the much-vaunted Kremlin air defense is powerless. And Palyannitsia is already heading for Moscow. And this is just the prologue to a great storm. What else are the armed forces of Ukraine preparing? We'll find out in just a moment. Ukraine has destroyed Oreshnik on Russian territory. This was announced by the head of the Security Service of Ukraine, Vasyl Maliuk. The specific weapon used by the Ukrainian Special Services has not been disclosed. Nevertheless, Ukraine's defense industry is expanding significantly every year. Ukraine is successfully using Neptune and Flamingo missiles together to strike Russia. President Volodymyr Zelensky told journalists about this and noted that while it is not being used on a large scale, there are already the first tangible results with this weapon.
In the future, I believe that missile attacks carried out with systems like Flamingo or Neptune will likely be accompanied by a broader and more diverse variety of unmanned systems, such as drones, each performing its own specific function. Some will distract air defenses, some will destroy air defenses, some will create interference, some will carry out suppression using electronic warfare.
The president also mentioned the use of the Palyanitsiya drone missile, which has already struck enemy ammunition depots dozens of times. The second positive trend, according to Zelensky, is the use of the Ruta drone missile, which for the first time flew 250 kilometers and struck a sea tower.
We have quite a few developments specifically in drone missiles. There are analysts who say that these are all cruise missiles of a small size. I don't quite agree with that for one simple reason. Usually a cruise missile is something that has some kind of wing mechanism. That is, the missile is launched either from the air or from the ground, then these wings unfold and they create aerodynamic lift, which allows the cruise missile to fly long distances. Our Ukrainian rocket drones, on the other hand, are equipped with a fixed wing. That is, a wing that is installed once and for all, permanently attached, and does not require any special launchers or any specialized casings that would need to be inserted into these launchers to ensure standardization. In summary, this design is much simpler, eliminating the need for additional equipment or complicated procedures during deployment.
However, the greatest achievement of the Ukrainians is considered to be the mass use of the Luty kamikaze drones, which numbered up to 300 UAVs.
Luty is a system with a slightly different concept. It has nothing in common with the Shahed, neither externally nor internally. Its control system, its advanced guidance system, and the various components it uses, such as sophisticated image recognition, precise guidance, and advanced artificial intelligence, have absolutely nothing whatsoever in common with the Shaheds.
The security service of Ukraine's naval drones have improved in both combat payload and range. They can strike targets over 1,500 kilometers away. They were first used in 2022 during the attack on Russian Black Sea Fleet ships in Sevastopol Bay. Since then, these drones have been constantly evolving and improving.
Our security service of Ukraine now has many more ways to destroy targets than it did before. And it's not just the Malyuk anymore, there are many other things as well. If there's a task for the Malyuk is used. If there's a task for other drones are used.
Since August of this year, the serial production of the Flamingo missile has been announced, which is capable of striking targets at a distance of 3,000 kilometers. The modernized Neptune has been successfully engaging ground targets for a year now, currently at a range of up to 400 kilometers. It has been announced that soon it will be able to strike up to 1,000 kilometers. How do you assess the successes of the Ukrainian defense industry? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button under the video, and stay up to date with the main news. There are almost 480,000 of us subscribed. More to come. See you.